Hello everyone and welcome back to the East Manchester experiment. We are here with a double header. It's Abbey Hay again. I know we've seen a lot of them, but it just seemed like an obvious one to do. Just because of the way it's fallen, we've got Cane Town, don't really want to do the FA Vars, so I'm just going to do these two, Wednesday and the Saturday, nice and simple. As you can see, it's been a decent start. We had that 0-0 draw with Alsaga, which is a bit disappointing, but we've had a couple of wins since then, one in the Cup, one in the League, and a draw against 1874 Northwich, which was a little unlucky. I didn't quite know whether to go for it or not, and I went for it for a little while in the end of the game, then decided to kind of go off and went on to counter and got done on the break in the very last the last 2 minutes. It was a game that was relatively even. We probably had the best of it, but not by much. So I can't complain too much. But it's always disappointing to lose late on like that, obviously. It does mean that we are not doing badly, but certainly not doing as well as I would like us to be doing. We're going to need to start winning a few more games, I think. So that's going to have to start today with Abbey Hay, and hopefully it can carry on with some wins against Northwich, Victoria, Litherland, and so on as we go through into September and October. So, as you can see, we are unbeaten since that Huddersfield friendly in the 9th of July, and even that game, I feel like we held our own against a team significantly higher than us in the ladder, so I'm pretty happy about that, to be honest. So here we go with our team for today. You'll notice Troy Whitcomb is on the bench. He's not really ready yet, but I feel like he's ready for a debut. He's not played a competitive game for us yet. He had one game where he was a scorer in a friendly, but he hasn't played a competitive game for us. As you can see, massive improvement in terms of it's a step up. This is a step up player for me. He's a step above anything else I've ever had at this club. So it will be a good moment to see him come on. I don't see him coming on for long in this game. Barring something strange happening, and even if one of these was to get injured early, I'd have to change my formation a bit. I think I'd have to do something different. Probably put an extra defensive midfielder in or something like that, because there's no way that Whitcomb's going to do more than about half an hour or so tops. Even that, I'd rather it was more like 5 or 10, because I want to build him up over the next few weeks. On the other hand, Ugochukwu has had a few minutes already, so I'm prepared to use him a little bit more. I could certainly see him having half an hour. He will come into the team at some point, not a doubt about that. Who he comes in for, well, Blakeman is there at the moment. Eventually Hayhurst will be back as well, but he's going to be a while still. So we will see. Ben Mills has dropped out of the side. He just hasn't been playing very well, and I feel like I've had Wakefield come into the team, had a couple of good games, 2 assists already in 96 minutes, which is pretty good going. Yes, okay, he hasn't scored, but there are other things that are important too. Jake Helms, I thought this guy was going to be quite good, and he still might be. I'm not going to be too quick to judge players, which I've been guilty of in the past, certainly. But he is for the moment out of the side. I have actually made a signing since you were last here. Jeff Mamola. It's just backup really. He's never going to be top class. He wasn't intended to be. Nice and cheap, £1,500 a year, pretty much nothing as far as I'm concerned, and it just gives a little bit of good backup for the side. People like Dominic Collins gradually sort of becoming less and less important to the team, which is ideal in the long term, obviously. The other player I wanted to just point out to you was Jake Lovegrove. Okay, he played. I gave him the game in the FA Cup preliminary round against Bridge North. He was fantastic. He was outstanding, I would say. Yes, it's against a team significantly below us, but he played well, and I figured, do you know what? I'm going to give him a go. Jimmy Pollard hasn't been doing so well, particularly the last game. He was really poor, so I figured this is the game to just give him a chance. I might regret it, but I figured I've almost got nothing to lose. He's not a centre back yet. He's training as one, and he will improve, but he's not a centre back yet. We will see. I mean, he's not the biggest person in the world. His headings are never going to be brilliant, and he probably is a better fullback. But we're not playing fullbacks, so I don't really have a choice in the matter. I don't actually know if he's any good on the right wing. Not particularly. So we will see. Obviously, he made a very good start, albeit against relatively simple opposition. So that's our side today. Jovan Smith, obviously, the spearhead of the attack, and has been so far this season. Waiting, of course, for Troy Whitcomb to come in and be even more important, but having them together is quite a frightening prospect for the opposition, I am sure. So we're going to go into the match today. So we're favourites against the old rivals in Abbey Hay. I've played them more than pretty much anyone else I think in this game so far. I might just check that to see how many times we have played them, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see we've played them 7 times, 3 wins, 3 defeats and a draw, so not bad. And here's Jacob Ossé with a free kick, hits the bar, Javan Smith is there, but it looks like he fouled somebody and the attack comes to an end there. It's a positive start certainly, we are all over them, I think I can say it, 71% possession, 3 shots to their none. And Tim Akinola gets a goal. I wasn't really expecting that to go in so quickly, I was sort of trying to work out whether that was a pointless highlight, it wasn't. Pretty rubbish keeping there from the Abbey Hay keeper, but there you go. And Waterhouse makes it 2. Great cross from Akinola there. Akinola having an absolute stormer already. Really lovely corner there, finding Waterhouse, and his 2nd goal of the season. Harry Waterhouse continuing to defy the fact that he's crap and get loads of goals. No idea how that's happened. But Dorkin has the ball on the left again, and it's into Keane, and it's 2-0. Luke bloody Keane. He scores against us so many times. Oh. And great cross again from Blakeman. Completely unmarked Javan Smith there. Terrible defending from Abbey Hay. But it's now 3-1 and it's looking good. We get another one. I'd like to see us get quite a few today. This is a game that we could really put them away in. Javan Smith misses it there. Crossover to Wakefield, but he misses it. Is it another corner? Yes. Akinola again. Matete. Oh, he's hit the post. I think it might be the foul anyway. Tell you what, Akinola's corners today are looking very dangerous. Another corner for Akinola. Not much to come of it this time. Up to Lovegrove. I'll say swings the ball towards Waterhouse. Can he make it to 4? Yes, Wakefield can. His first goal for the club. Assist from Waterhouse. Waterhouse and Wakefield. I'm going to get them very confused this season, I feel. If I get them mixed up, apologies in the future, rest of the season. Just about onside. 4-1. This is a fantastic first half display. Really pleased with that. To win that first half 4-1. It's really, really good. Keep that up. I'd like to see us score a few more. It'd be nice to kind of entertain you with a nice 7 or 8. I'm going to keep it on attacking because I'm not worried about losing a lead like I did. Actually, I haven't mentioned this yet. My last game, I did. Yeah, in the last game when I lost that lead later on. Scratch the last bit. Not worried too much about losing my lead late on anymore, so I can keep it nice and attacking. It's going to be time to make a couple of changes, I think, shortly. Matete clears it. It's not quite time yet, I don't think, for the debut, but I might well bring on Ugachukwu. Matete can come off, not playing particularly well anyway. Compared to the rest of the team, of course. I mean, 7's not bad, don't get me wrong, but when the whole team's playing as well as they are, Troy Whitcomb, I think, is at least 10, maybe 15 minutes away. That might be time. I'm going to take out Harry Wakefield. The reason I'm going for him is simply because he's the only one on the yellow card. That's the only reason, really. It could have been any of the 3 of them. If they hadn't been booked, it probably would have been Waterhouse, I think, because I tend to have a bias for taking off the players playing best, just because I feel like the others have a chance to improve their score. I don't know if it makes any. Someone tell me, does it make any difference? So, for example, my thinking is, if he comes off with a 6.7, Ugachukwu, let's say, then his average rating goes to 6.7. Does that then have an influence? I realise it wouldn't be the only one, but does it have an influence on his future performance? Because presumably, the better a player plays, the better he will play. And so, if he does better, then he will get better. That's my thinking by that. I've got no idea if it's valid or not, but it always feels like if he comes off with a better rating, then he will get better in the future. I might be talking complete gibberish there, but that's my thinking behind that, particularly when we're winning. You know, I very rarely take off a player who is not doing well if we're winning, simply because I think, well, he can improve, and I can risk that. If we're losing, obviously that's a different matter, but it's 4-1. I knew I had that flexibility in the side to do that. So let's see what happens in the rest of this game. If we can get, I'd like to get Whitcomb a goal. It'd be nice to get him a debut goal too. Blakeman. Whitcomb's there. Oh, he has. It's a great goal as well. Troy Whitcomb, within about 3 or 4 minutes of coming on for his debut, gets the ball on the edge of the box, spins, and it's an absolute stormer goal. Oh, that's beautiful. 4 goals for my 4 strikers today. couldn't have asked for more. And Tim Akinola as well, obviously. So 4 goals from 4 strikers plus 1 from your winger. It doesn't get a lot better than that against a team who may not be title rivals, but I would have thought would be sort of upper echelons of the table rivals, certainly. And it should be that, I think. Waterhouse out to Orsay. Can we get one more? No. Wow, I'm really happy with that. Whitcomb coming on and scoring as well. Just put the cherry on the icing of the cake there. I'm so pleased with that. Very nice victory. Beautiful. Great stuff. So that should improve things somewhat in in terms of the league. What I'm going to do, which I don't always do, is I think I'm going to go straight through, and I'm not going to cut this, apart from just for continuity. Things like loading I will cut sometimes if I'm not talking through it. I'm not going to cut it at all. I just want to let you watch me play for a little while, see if you can get an idea of how kind of the day-to-day works, because it's only a couple of days until the next game anyway. So I'm going to be leaving this on, and I will pause it, but only when I've got things like nothing much to say over the loading. So that takes us nice and high up in the table, up to 4th. 4 points off Congleton Town, because we've had those 2 draws. But we're also unbeaten. Not many teams left who are unbeaten. We've got 4 of us. No, 6 of us. But those 2 obviously have dropped many more points elsewhere. So Triumph. Whitcomb makes his debut. Yeah, Whitcomb. Done really well there. Akinola, of course, the star. I think he's probably becoming my favourite player in the safe. I think Waterhouse is obviously up there, but Tim Akinola, I really like this guy. I really do. And if he carries on like this season, he's going to be an absolute superstar for us. I always forget how young he is. 21 still. He still should be still improving, I hope. So we will move on. I'm just trying to think whether Ugochukwu is going to be fit or not. I don't think so, and I don't think Whitcomb will be either. But I hope to give him a little bit more time. If I can give Whitcomb half an hour maybe, and maybe Ugochukwu, if I give him somewhere close to half the game, that would be a nice step forward, with the idea maybe that they would hopefully start the next league game, although I won't obviously be likeing that one. Sorry, that's post-match. I was thinking it was pre-match. I was thinking, I don't pay too much attention to the post-match. I have a quick look through the pre-match, but I don't have too much of a problem with looking at post-matches particularly. Got a few trialists coming in. I tend to have trialists coming in pretty much. It's a bit of a revolving door for the trialists at East Manchester. Most of them rubbish. I hardly ever take any anymore. But just occasionally one comes past, and I just think, yep, you know what, you're worth a try. But we'll see if that kind of thing comes of that. I didn't want Rio Douglas. I've had this guy out at this club so many times. It only says 1 here, but I've had him on trial so many times in the past. It must be about 8 or 9, but it's not there in terms of actually showing them for some reason. I'm not sure why. But yeah, he's been in and out a lot, Rio Douglas, for sure. Let's move on. You can see 5 trials are also finishing today. Fenwick on trial, Cunningham on trial. None of these look any good to me. Assistant reports are not very good, but if I tend to think if they're less than 2 stars, then it's just not worth worrying about it, or even 2 stars really. They're very rarely going to get it so wrong that a 2-star player is worth keeping. Equally, if they've got 4 stars, that doesn't necessarily mean they're worth keeping either. And if they've got 5 stars, if they've got 3 or 4 stars, they might be fantastic. But if they've got 2 stars or less, I tend to think it's not going to happen. I had this guy before; he's still not any good. It's amazing. I'm getting to a point in the game now. I feel like I've had every long league player there is, and I know that's not true, but it feels like that because there are so many coming through. I get scouting reports back all the time for players. I think, oh, I know you. I had you before. Just occasionally it comes to something. We got Waterhouse back, I think, through that way. So obviously it's not completely pointless doing so. So big favourites for this game, 10-1 on. So this is not the game you're about to see is hopefully a game that we might be able to get some more goals in, just like in the last game. Although obviously the last game I thought it would be a lot closer than that. But hopefully we can continue that goal scoring form, particularly if we can get Whitcomb onto the pitch for a bit more. If he carries on with this rate, he's going to get about 8 goals per game, which is terrific. So just to show you our transfer activity now, we've had quite a few coming in now. Obviously Wakefield came in. originally just as a backup striker, and he still is that, but he will play now and then for sure. We then got Ben Mills back, another player we've had back into the side. Again, probably more of a backup player than anything else now. I don't think he's going to play a huge role, but he will play from time to time. You've obviously got Whitcomb, you know all about. Every time I look at him, I still can't quite believe it. Just to compare him with Jovan Smith, who clearly was my best player last year in terms of strikers. I mean, they're obviously different players, but look, it's like he's better in almost every area. He's not quite as quick, not quite as good in the air, but other than that, he's better in pretty much every area. It's just such, mentally he's really strong. You've got this fantastic pace stuff, and his fitness means that he will keep going till 90 minutes plus. I can imagine him scoring quite a few goals in the 90th minute. It's something that might be quite useful. I think all those times that you're chasing a game in the last few minutes, and having someone with that kind of fitness and that pace can only be a good thing, I think. You see, he's now lost his fitness testing, so I probably could play him from the start today. I'm not going to, I don't think, but I probably could. I think he will probably start the next league game, but I think this time I'm going to give him a little bit less time. He would probably still get half the game at least, or very close to half the game. Ugochukwu likewise, but I'm just going to be a bit cautious because it's a game that I know we're going to win anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Plus, if we're 3 or 4 nil up at half time, he can come on without any pressure, knock in a few goals. It'd be fantastic for his morale. Just wondering if there's anyone else I'd like to give a game to. Might just see if I can give Lucas Smith a game, just because it'd be nice to give him a few and know that I can call on him if necessary. I know about Brad Wild. I know Brad Wild is going to do a good job for me, so I'm going to take him out. Jake Holmes, just because I don't want to completely give up on him. Bring him in for Jay Matete. I know all about him. I've had him for ages. So there we go. He's his 4th season. He was so good at first, but he has certainly faded away. I don't think he's quite good enough for this team if we're actually going to push on from this level. See if anyone else. I might give Momola a game as well. No, I'm going to let Lovegrove play. I think Morrison needs to keep going because that good form isn't necessarily permanent. Sorry about that. Let's give Jazz Casey a game. Yeah, I'll give Guy a game as well, just for Jovan Smith. And that'll do. Tempted to give Winterbottom a game, but I don't see any reason to change the keeper really. We don't need a cut keeper. Not sure I entirely buy this whole thing about cut keepers. I think a keeper just needs to play. It's about concentration, isn't it? So if they just play, get into the rhythm. Never quite bought the whole cut keeper thing. So yeah, here we go. There is fitness there, but then their sharpness isn't quite 100%. And whilst that wouldn't matter in this game, I just think giving them a full match, probably pushing it. I say that though, I wonder whether I should start them and just take them off. I think I might do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I will definitely bring them on. They will have close to half a match each, but it won't be quite that much, I don't think. Blakeman's slightly struggling with his fitness as well. I've changed my mind just for Ogochukwu. I mean, I can bring on Blakeman, of course, but if he's not entirely fit, I don't particularly want to risk it. So Ogochukwu will start. Blakeman will come on for him, and then we'll have Troy Whitcomb swap with one of the strikers later on in the game for sure. So I don't always like coming in with sort of specific plans made in substitutions, but I think on this occasion it makes complete sense. So here we go. The FA Cup preliminary round. Game that hopefully we should be winning quite easily. Don't know how long it will be before we can sort of knock off one of these rounds. I've already played one round, remember, the extra preliminary round. My guess is if we get promoted this season, that might be the last time I play that one. Don't know whether I'll still have to do this one. Having said that, I've never drawn anyone above me, I don't think, in this round. There's been a few people in our league, but I don't think I've ever drawn anyone above me. So it may be that round is also for this level, and I will actually skip two rounds after that, but we'll see. Here we go, the first highlight of the match. Waterhouse has the ball over to Key. Finds Wakefield, and it's 1-0. There we are. Nice. Easy goal. All 3 strikers involved. Pretty good. I'm not going to be judging anyone, obviously, on this game. You know, that was a good goal, but this is against the team who was significantly below us in the pyramid. Hellenic League Division 1 West. What level's that? It's not even in the game. So there must be in one of the previous things. So, remember, I've taken away a couple of the leagues this year, so I'm playing at the lowest playable league now. That was basically because it was just getting unbearable. It was so slow. I wanted to do it. I wanted to wait another season so I could really see the the difference. I do feel it a little bit. I think another season would be nice, but it was just too slow. I couldn't bear it. Wakefield makes it 2. Nice ball over there from Jake Holmes. I told you. See, I wrote him off. I didn't write him off because I always knew I would give him a chance, but I'd taken him out of the team, and he produces something like that. He always looked like he should be capable of that. I feel like things like that aren't really properly reflected in the stats that give the average ratings. Wow, what a goal from Wakefield that was! Great shot, hat trick, 24-minute hat trick from Wakefield. I mean, I don't care who the opposition is. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, as I was saying, the passes like that and even assists, actually, I don't feel they're properly reflected. Often, like an assist can often be better than a goal in terms of the skill it creates, and yet it doesn't seem to me to be reflected in the ratings. It's like, if someone scores, they're always going to be either high 7s or an 8. You hardly ever see anyone scoring in low 7s. I don't feel the same is quite true of an assist, certainly not to enough of an extent. I feel like if someone's had an assist, they should probably be almost as high as a goal, just on the basis of that particular movement. And I don't think they are. You can see that really. I mean, Holmes, to be fair, he's on 8.6. I don't know if he's got a couple of assists, maybe. He's certainly, he has got 2 assists, so obviously that's helped. But I mean, in some ways, it proves my. Oh, wow, what a shot from Waterhouse! This is going to be a rout. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm not going to commentate on all of these because it's just going to be a bit of a procession. This. But yeah, Harry Wakefield's obviously got 3, so it's hard to judge him. But if you look at the people who've got 2 compared to someone who's got 2 assists, I feel like it's a bigger gap than it perhaps should be. I'm not sure if today's necessarily going to be the best place to say that. Jake Holmes is clearly having an absolute stormer. But I have seen people get 3 or even 4 assists sometimes and still not be a 9. And I feel that should be, definitely. 5-0. Well, look, this is not a great performance or anything like that. It's quite, in some ways, it's a bit of a training session, but it's certainly going very, very well. It won't be long, surely, before my subs come on. Right, okay, I think it is time now, don't you? Yes, me too. Let's have Call for Whitcomb. Waterhouse will be the man to make way because he's just a little bit off the pace in terms of his fitness. And I want him raring to go for the next game. So it's the first time he's had a proper serious burst of play for Whitcomb. This is about the kind of time he scored his goal in terms of how long he's been on the pitch as he was in the first game. So maybe it's time already for him to score. Goodness me, what happened there? He's just missed it. Colin Sweet scored, but that's purely for that mistake from Smith. That was very poor. What happened here? He just left it. Really odd. I mean, who cares really, but it's just disappointing on a day that we're scoring lots of goals to then concede an unnecessary goal and not get a clean sheet. Not going to again, is it? Whitcomb gets the ball out. Back up. We're under a bit of pressure here from Cape Town. It is. It's 5-2. I mean, I'm not worried or anything, but it's a bit disappointing. We were absolutely rampaging in that first half. Come on, let's make it 6 and get back on top of this. Just put to bed any niggling concerns. Whitcomb's through. Not quite that time. He certainly looks dangerous though. He's going to be such a big player for us, I think, the rest of this season. He just looks a whole head and shoulders above everyone else, I would say. Oh, goodness me, we're going to be under pressure again. Luchukwu to Holmes. Luchukwu over to Casey. Casey finds Whitcomb. No, he doesn't, not quite. And Sweets through again. It's 5-3. I mean, permission to be a little bit worried. Are we really going to let a 5-0 lead at half time slip? I mean, surely not. I'm not going to take it off attacking because I want more goals. But I'm just a little bit worried. Wickham not being quite as good today. I mean, 6.3 now. It seems a bit harsh because we've seen him get through a couple of times and get into good position. Looks like we're pretty safe now. I should have made another substitution really, but it's too late now. Wickham has the ball. There is time for one more. Who has it? Wait to Akinola. Not sure what's happened there. Morrison gets the ball. It's a really odd highlight. It's going to be a chance for them in the end. I mean, I think we're close enough now to full time that it shouldn't matter if they score now. They have done though. 5-4. I mean, this is ridiculous. We're 5-0 up. Surely it doesn't matter though. Surely it's not going to go 5-all. Surely. Gee. Wide, and that's surely it. Full time, ref. Full time. Yeah. Goodness me. I mean, that was just a little bit worrying at the end. I mean, I know I really felt like we were going to be made to pay, but that wasn't great, was it, that second half? And I'm a little worried by it, particularly given that the only real change was bringing off Waterhouse and bringing Wickham on. And I know he's not entirely fit yet, and I'm not going to judge him on one match, but that was not ideal. Okay, so that was a little hairy towards the end. Goodness me, those full-time ratings. Look at that change. I'm not sure I've ever seen it at quite that start before. I've seen the other way around, but look at that. From those ratings to those ones by the end. Obviously, the strikers a little less so, but that change from half-time to full-time is really scary. We did get away with that today. There's no doubt. Oh, shut up, the people who are stressed. You know that that's true. So, I'm a little worried by that, I have to admit. But then again, you know, we were on attacking. I wanted to go for goals. If I really needed to, if we looked in significant danger, then I could have been a little bit more cautious a bit earlier. You know, I think in the league, once they got the second goal, I probably would have gone a bit more defensive and said, you know what, we don't need goals here. It doesn't really matter. It was only because I knew that it was a fairly weak team in a live-comm. Would quite like to have seen Wickham score again, I guess. That I kept it on attacking for quite a long time. And you know, to be fair, like if they'd scored that fourth goal earlier, they probably would have gotten onto perhaps cautious, but it didn't feel like I needed it, I have to admit. Right, here we are. Was a bit of a thriller in the end, wasn't it? Not ideal. Lucas Smith's debut, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, not the ideal debut. I don't think he's ever going to be a great centre back for us. He is a full back, really. Decent amount of money. Wakefield, he was very good. Harry Wakefield. Right, Harry Wakefield not very happy. I mean, it's a bit. I don't quite know why he's complaining. I get a bit worried about this. I know it's FM and it's not perfect, but surely if you're 5-0 up against a team who are significantly weaker than you and you end up winning 5-4, it's legitimate to have a bit of a go at your players. I would have thought the strikers would have known I wasn't really talking to them. You know, it's kind of I want them to have a bit more common sense. Am I being unfair here? Like, if you win a game 5-4 and you have a go at the team at the end of the game, the strikers should know, right, that you're not talking to them really. Whatever. Okay, he's annoyed me now. He's really annoyed me because I feel like he should have understood that that was not really ideal to win that game only 5-4. On the other hand, we are scoring a lot of goals after that 0-0 in our first live-comm this season. Look how many goals we've scored since. We've scored 19 goals in 5 games. So if that can continue, obviously that will help. But conceding 4 is clearly not ideal. All these goals, lots and lots of goals coming in. We've got Whitchurch Allport coming up in the FA Vars, followed by another FA Cup game. So we've got 3 cup games in a row now, followed by the Northwich Victoria game. I think I'm going to come back, possibly for the. No, actually, I'm not going to do the League Cup this year. I know it has been important to me in the past because of the money, but it's just not enough to be worth it. It was for a while, but £10,000 and only if I win it. Nah, not going to bother with it this year. So I will be back then sometime in October probably. I'll see what the table's looking like. It will probably be, I might, depending on what happens, I might come back for the Litherland game. At the moment they're doing quite well, so it could be Litherland. Otherwise it will be one of these three, I think. Um, if we go through in the FA Cup first qualifying round, then there might be a double live comm with that perhaps. Let me know what you think of the team at the moment. Let me know what you think of my tactics at the moment. It seems to be working quite well. Certainly attacking wise we're looking fantastic. Akinola banging in loads and loads of crosses, particularly from corners actually, and free kicks. Defensively, a little suspect perhaps, but to be fair, in that game particularly, we had two young players who aren't really centre backs yet. And Lovegrove, who had such a good start when he got that, the 8.1 and the 7.5, he's now had a 6.3, so that's obviously pulled him back a bit. I want to see if I can keep him in. I'm not too worried about Lucas Smith because I don't really see him as an option going forward. But I might keep him in, I think, because I think he's done just about enough to suggest that he could be a really, really useful player. So I'm going to bring him off. I think I will actually keep him in the side. Brad Wild in the middle there, because he's certainly the best of the players we have in there. As you can see, he's really nice centre-back who should get better. I know his determination is not great, but he's young and he has most of the attributes he needs to be a really good player at this level. So I think that is the way I'm going to leave it. We need Joanne Smith back into the side. And I think next game, I know you won't be there, so I apologise for this, but I think next game it's time to have a go with, I was going to say with Whitcomb, but actually everyone else is playing so well, it's very hard for me to not. Yeah, I'm going to bring him in for Wakefield, but Wakefield will certainly come on. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, let me know what you think. This is a team as it is at the moment. You can see the roles. How do you think I'm going? Jake Lovegrove, as you can see, my coaches have told me in between the last couple of games that he's been training really well in that position. So I've got him training specifically as a central defender, and they are telling me that he's improving in those areas. Certainly, you can see his work rate's improved, his strength's improved, which is good, really good for a central defender, and his tackling obviously crucial. He's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but I just think he could be a really good player in that position. He's still only 18, decent enough determination, so no reason why he couldn't turn into a very good central defender for me there. But as I say, let me know what you think, and I will see you tomorrow.